I am going to make pumpkin pie donuts. First step is to take out my frozen pumpkin puree and put it in the fridge overnight to defrost. All right, my pumpkin puree has defrosted, and so I am going to make donuts. I am baking donuts. I only have one of these donut pans. I kind of wish I had two, because this recipe will actually make 15 donuts, so that means I'm gonna have to do like 3 batches, but that's fine. And so I have made this before. It's been years, and I had a different donut pan, which I have no idea what happened to it. I wish I knew. So I just bought this one. Hopefully it will work just as well as my old one. And so what I am going to do, so you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and you're going to mix all your wet ingredients together first. So 1/2 cup vegetable oil, 3 large eggs, 1½ cups sugar, 1½ cups pumpkin puree, 1½ teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, 1½ teaspoon of salt, and 1½ teaspoon of baking powder. And you mix that all together in your KitchenAid. And then once it's smooth, you add 1 3/4 cups of flour. So I am going to, since this is defrosted, I am going to strain it a little just to get any extra moisture out. Actually, it doesn't really feel like there's too much water in it. Might not have to strain it, but sometimes when you defrost your pumpkin puree, it's a little more watery than, like, you know, the store-bought puree that you get out of a can. So if it's too watery, just drain out some of that water. Anyway, let me get everything measured and into the KitchenAid mixer. All right, this is the batter before adding the flour. I actually ended up not draining any of my puree. Once I opened the bag, I saw there really was no excess water. So it was 1½ cups of the puree. Now I'm gonna add 1 cup and 3/4 cup of flour. At this part, if you can add a little more flour if you feel like your batter is too runny. It really just depends on your puree. So you're kind of looking for the consistency of like pancake batter. If you're not, you know, like when you make cupcakes, that's kind of, you don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too runny. And so, you know, the reason I'm saying that it's 1 3/4, but then maybe change it a little, because if you're using your own puree that you froze yourself, everyone's puree may be a little different, like it, you know, so that's why I'm saying you kind of might have to add a little or maybe take a little less away. So first I'm going to do 1 cup, mix it together, and then add the 3/4 if I think it needs it. All right, this is the finished batter. I did end up using the exact instructions, the 1 cup and 3/4 cup. This is exactly the texture of the batter I want. So I'm gonna pour it into my cake pan now. So you wanna fill it a little half full, a little over half full, 3/4 full. And even though this looks like a non-stick pan, I cannot say it, a non-stick pan, I'm still gonna use my Wilton Bake Easy spray. So I'm going to get these foiled, and then they're gonna bake in the oven for 15 to 18 minutes. You just have to watch, everyone's oven is different. And so when filling the donut pan, I guess technically you could get a piping bag and pipe it in, but that's a lot of work. I just take a big spoon and I do 3 spoonfuls around each one. It's not perfect, but that's how I do my donut cake pan. And then I will wipe down any of the smudges so it doesn't burn in the oven. All right, so I did end up cooking them for 18 minutes. I think they look pretty darn good, but you can always do the toothpick test. Just put a toothpick in, and if nothing sticks to it, they are done. So I am gonna let that sit here for 5 minutes and then take them out of the pan and then start the next batch. The donuts came out quite easily out of the pan. This is the bottom side. So now I'm going to put them in this bag. This is fine sugar. This is a cup of fine sugar and a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. So I'm just going to, you want to do this while it's still warm, and they're still warm, just not hot. And get them coated with the sugar coating. These are the donuts coated with sugar. I'm gonna do a quick taste test before I cook the rest, just because I wanna make sure the 18 minutes is long enough. All right. Those are pretty good. They are cooked all the way through. Robert's eating one. He don't want to be on camera. It's not too sweet at all, so you definitely want to coat it with the sugar to help. It's really like pumpkin bread in a donut form. You know what would be really good? A little icing on it, don't you think, honey?
Yes. Yep.
The sugar coating is nice, but I think like a simple white icing, you know, when you just take powdered sugar and put a little water in it, like a glaze, that'd be really good too. I'm eating this whole donut. It's good. So I am gonna do the rest with the 18 minutes, and I'm not gonna coat the rest with the sugar. It makes, what did it say? 18 donuts. And it's just the two of us. There's no way we can eat 18 donuts in like a week. And so what, I will eat another one, honey. What do you think? He's eating a second one, so he really loves it. This recipe is slightly different than my pumpkin bread recipe. So it is lighter for the donut, and it is really good. So what was I saying? Oh, I will freeze the rest. I will wrap them individually, and then we'll just pop them out of the refrigerator whenever we want one. Just because between the two of us, I usually have this thing where we need to eat desserts within 5 days, and there's no way we'll eat that many donuts in 5 days. And so just like pumpkin bread, you can freeze it, but since they're so small, I prefer to wrap them individually. So if I want one for breakfast, I'll just put one in the fridge the night before, and it'll be defrosted enough to eat it for breakfast. This is really good. It's cooked perfectly, don't you think, honey?
It is. The cat likes it.
Don't feed it to the cat.
The cat likes it.
Oh my God. Apparently cats like pumpkin. So yeah. 31 days of pumpkin, and day number 1 is pumpkin donuts. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you later.